Oh,
And action.
I can't do it again. Burr, 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 burr. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's episode 3. Nicole, can you believe it's episode 3?
Girl, time is moving, man. We are rolling and I love it. This has been, like I said, every episode has been so fun as we unpack different things and we just have this, like we said, this girl talk and discussion. So yeah, the fact that this is the third one, it's gonna be a good one.
I'm excited. Welcome, y'all, to the Ladies First podcast. And today's episode, we are paying homage to R.I.P. Aaliyah. Okay, this
Baby
episode
girl.
is, I know, baby girl, all about we need a resolution. You know, we always pick amazing song titles for our topics, and our theme for today is all about resolution with communication, conflict resolution, and emotional maturity. We always got to start it out with our little, a little sippy sip to get started. What you sipping on today, Nicole? What you got?
Okay, so I'm back to my wine, and today I picked a little dessert wine, if you will. It's called Layer Cake. It's a Malbec, and I really like this. Again, I was introduced to this at a restaurant during my lunch break, and it's really nice. So like I said, a Malbec, and it has a bold, rich flavor to red wine, with notes of blackberry, plum, cocoa, hints of espresso, and spice from
Mm.
oak aging. So yeah, and you get it all in there. It's a bold flavor. I really like it. And so yeah, it's just something relaxing. I can pair it with a little bit of dessert. I like some chocolate, maybe some ice cream or something like that. Maybe a brownie. I've been one of my favorite desserts is I love brownies, first of all. Nice
Sure.
fudge brownie, nice and warm, gooey in the middle. I
Mm-hmm.
have been a fan of throwing like coffee or like espresso ice cream on top and letting it melt. And so kind of having a brownie and stuff. I know it's weird, but it works. And thanks shout out to Insomnia Cookies because I got that little brownie slash and then you throw a scoop of ice cream on it from them. And I just so happened because I looked at all the options and I was like, well, I don't want cookie dough on it. I don't want this. And I was like, let's try this coffee ice cream. And girl, changed my life.
Oh my God.
So that is my new thing. But yeah, so whenever I'm having like a little dessert, maybe some cheesecake or something, I'll throw a little layer cake in there as well. And it's got to be, even though it's wine, it's got to be in my red solo cup. Shout out to Red Solo.
That
Every
part.
time I'm drinking, I got to have it in here. So
I
what
love
about you, girl? What you sipping on?
today. Okay, y'all. Finally, it's been one of those Tuesdays where you need a little something, something. Okay, so for today, I have Shiner seasonal. I saw that this at the Fresh Market the other day, and I said, ooh. Ooh, the reviewer in me cannot rest until it is something crazy. And this one is the peach wheat seasonal. It's 4.5% alcohol content, juicy, perfectly ripe peaches, golden hazy color. So she not thick, and it tastes like it came fresh from the orchard. Clink, clink,
Yeah,
clink.
yeah.
Come
Clink,
on,
clink.
Chris Brown.
Okay, thoughts?
Oh, okay. So at the beginning, she's doing a lot, like a usual. You know when you cut a fresh peach,
Hmm.
tastes fresh peach at the end.
Do you
But
get the berry, the hazy? Well,
at
it's
the
not
beginning.
hazy.
At the
Okay,
beginning, it's beautiful at the end. It's very refreshing.
let's get into this discussion, girl. The week, Twitter was on fire over the weekend, just with a ton of stuff with the award show, outbursts, the Olympics, and the men's and women's soccer. I mean, excuse me, hockey teams, and that contra. I mean, girl. So, what are your thoughts? What are some things that you saw from over the weekend in sports and entertainment?
Child, my neck is itching. We have freedom of speech, sure,
Mhm.
but we're taking it a bit too far. Not to mention y'all's president, okay, with his State of the Union for the second half. I don't even want to. I'm just over it altogether. But something that I do want to hit on that had everybody like, excuse me, was the 2026 British Academy Film Awards, known as the BAFTA, with Tourette's Advocate. When I figured out that was his official title, I said, excuse me. John Davidson, who called out the N word while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting. Like they had the first award of the night. Mind you, they keep going. That it was a pause, But they keep going. Very professional. I have to give it to them because I'd have been like,
Yes, shout out to
"What
them.
the hell
You
was
know, they
that?"
would have broke character real quick. That's how they some real actors. Because
I
I would
mean,
have broke character real quick. Like, baby,
they were
who the
just
hell is you
very,
talking to?
I mean, didn't
Whew.
even flinch. I gotta watch it again. Something I want to know was the aftermath. And this is what John Davidson said. He said he was deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional or to carry any meaning. He chose to leave the auditorium early into the ceremony as he was aware of the distress that his tics were causing. So BBC, because this was, overseas,
Yeah.
they apologized for even airing the incident, and BAFTA separately released a statement in which it apologized unreservedly. It also said Davidson's statement comes after the BBC apologized for not editing the N word incident out of the broadcast. Lindo and Jordan stated they did what they had to do while on stage during the incident, but said that they wish someone from BAFTA spoke to us immediately
Mhm.
afterwards. Now,
Mhm.
personally, I don't care what needed to be displayed, what apologies, whatever. That's unacceptable. You should not be presenting, and now you have to hear racial slurs. Saw that the NAACP on their Instagram stated that staying calm shouldn't be a prerequisite for Black talent to exist in these spaces. When I
Mm,
read that, I said, "Ooh, clock
mm,
it."
mm.
But we do that every day.
Yeah, yep.
Not even as Black women, Black people. Every day you have to go into certain situations, certain scenarios, just ready for whatever, especially in this climate. It's still swept under the rug on behalf of the Black race. Y'all, you remember that from the Chappelle show? We
Yes.
do not accept that. Thank you. Have a good night.
No, I agree. It's one thing, and I know we were discussing this earlier, and kind of our central theme is, giving grace, right? You could
Sure,
give grace to folks, and this scenario where it people with Tourette's, I mean, it's a real thing. We get it. It's a real type of involuntary tick that happens in outbursts. We understand that,
sure.
but this is in your vocabulary. There's one, it's like a parrot, you know what I'm saying? Parrots can only regurgitate what they hear. So
Correct.
this is something that you have heard and that you say on somewhat of a
Often.
basis. Yes, often within your people. And it just so happens that I guess he was triggered, the tick was triggered when he saw actual Black people on stage and was like, the nerve, niggas. And
The
so
gall.
so
Listen, niggas.
but but I mean, at the end of the day, with anything, you know how a lot of these, there was somebody else recently. Oh, the lady, I think it was at HGTV. Her show just got canceled because she was caught on video or something. Somebody had released that she was going on some racist rant or something.
Who was
Off
this?
right during the, I can't remember. I don't watch these HGTV shows, but
Me
again, I saw
neither,
this
but
on Twitter. I'll look it up and we'll go
okay.
into it. But yes, somebody in, I guess, within her team released that footage behind her back, and her show immediately got pulled, yanked, all that stuff. This is what they talk about behind the scenes. You just didn't think that it was going to
Correct.
come to, you know what I'm saying, to the public. And
Did
when
you
it got to
see
the public, now real consequences happen and stuff. And so
I
yeah, I don't
forgot
excuse it.
I forgot what it was. I'm drawing a blank too, but you might have seen it where it was, I can't remember if it was, oh, it was a young lady. I can't remember if she was middle school or high school, but she was talking virtually to the board for the school system.
Yes,
And she was
yes.
basically talking about her disdain for the school being closed or whatever was going to happen. And
Mhm.
somebody wasn't muted. And sister girl, well, she wasn't a sister girl, but she was talking about, oh, well, if they knew it was good for them, they'd stay in the back and blah, blah, blah. Just talking about Black people, very, very backwoodsy, very massa like. And it was like,
Mhm.
excuse you? And all she did was say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I didn't follow up to see if she got the boot or whatever. But either
Yeah, you're
way, it's
sorry
like,
you got caught.
so you just get
You're
a slap on
sorry you got caught. PR statements and to try and downplay what occurred is, yeah, just that, in one ear out the other, like, save it.
this is only what we see. It happens every day. all the time.
Kind of pivot into more of the sports and what happened over the weekend. So the
Mhm.
Olympics just wrapped up
Right.
after 2 weeks. The Winter Olympics that was in Milan,
Milan.
which was really nice. And the women's U.S. women's hockey team was in the gold medal game against Canada.
Okay.
Hockey is a Canadian
Canadian.
sport. That
Okay.
is their like yes.
Everything. Okay.
Yes, it was
Okay.
created over there and blah blah. Like they
Oh.
are hockey up in there.
Mhm.
And so their Canadian teams for the men's and women's were in the gold medal game. And USA, the women and men were both in the gold medal game. Now, the women, this was their first time in quite some time that they won the gold medal game and it was in overtime and
Okay.
off of a really nice goal. And so yeah, it was really cool. So everybody, America, everybody, we were all celebrating on social
Yeah.
media and stuff. Then the next day, so that was Saturday.
Mhm.
Sunday, the men's gold medal game. And again, we beat Canada, which was really cool in overtime. So same, how
Wow.
how it
Okay.
happened.
Yeah.
And so everybody was just like beaming with American pride and suck it Canadians. And yeah, we came into your trap and took over your trap, like just popping off, right? So we were all American pride
Yeah.
until they got back to the locker room and we saw who was there in this your president's administration, these people's president's administration, the FBI, Cash Patel, who claimed he wasn't gonna be going over to the Olympics on uh, the public's dime, in fact, got caught in 4K on IG Live and these people's lives and stuff as they were celebrating in the locker room, and he's over here like doing a keg stand and shit. And I mean, just and people are like, whoa, first off, and then they were fielding a phone call from Trump, who was congratulating them, and he made a just misogynistic, underhanded thing to the men. It was like, oh, where I'm inviting you to the White House, and then he was mentioning like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to invite the women's team to the White House too, since they won. And they just bursted out laughing, and everybody was taken aback. Like, and it just goes to show you how in 2 seconds you can go from American heroes to like, mm-mm, unacceptable. Like, cannot, like, my whole view of how I look at you now is completely, I'm so disappointed. So, the ick, like, really, you guys disrespected your sister team who
And they're
did the same thing
laughing
as
because
you.
your president said something. So not
Exactly.
one of them was like, "What the fuck?"
No, they all
Wow.
kiki along with Cash Patel doing the keg stand and shit, drinking beer and ripping his shirt off, and yeah, USA, US. It was crazy. And again, it's one of
Chaos.
those. If it wasn't recorded, we would have never known, and we would have never known these guys are disrespecting women like this if it wasn't shown. And so it just goes to show, and now they're literally going to be at the State of the Union tonight. Like they just landed yesterday
The men's team?
back in the States, and they're going to be Trump invited him, and
What the hell
the
they at the State of the
majority of
Union
the
for?
I don't, because they just won, and I don't know, why. But a lot of them, I think there's only 5 players that are not present there. But mind you, a lot of people were like, it's because a lot of them, the NHL season is starting back up because they took a break, a hiatus, because a lot of the players in the
Oh,
NHL, the National Hockey League in America and Canada, were on a pause while a lot of their players were
at
representing their
the Olympics.
specific companies. Yeah, that's companies, their countries. And
Mhm.
so now the season is going to resume again. And so people are like, oh, well, he has a game tomorrow. So maybe he just wanted to get back. So I don't know if it was to make a statement like, I don't stand for what he said, or if it's truly like, no, I kind of low key got to get back. Otherwise, I'd be there, guys. So it is what it is. But that was super disappointing for the men's hockey team to hear that. And shout out to the women's team. Trump did officially underhanded gave them an invite.
I
They
hope they don't
declined.
go.
They
Thank you.
declined.
Okay.
And but Flavor Flav, God bless him, because he has been you know what I'm saying. He has
Yes.
sponsored
Yeah.
a lot of these teams, the women's water polo and the Summer Olympics and
Mhm.
everything. He invited them for some type of party and celebration of their gold
Okay.
medal, and they accepted that. So shout out to that. I look forward to seeing the follow up of of that celebration and things like that. But yeah, the men's team can go to hell. That was that. And finally, to wrap up the weekend, another big thing with that kind of merges culture and sports is the
Yeah.
Clarissa Shields fight. That happened, the boxing match that took place in Detroit, and she faced Franchon Cruz Desern.
Girl, you did that.
I thank you. I had to practice, but and it was a battle. It was a very good fight. Nobody got knocked out, but they were going blow for blow. I mean, those final rounds. We'll have to put some of the video footage
Yeah,
up. Those
for sure.
final rounds, they was just a swinging. It was about to be a what girl fight. We about to throw them balls.
Come on, Brooke
When
Valentine.
it's up to this, but no, it was a battle. But Clarissa Shields, she and still, she defended her title and by unanimous decision. So shout out to her with her man Papoose by her side. And they were celebrating at the after party and stuff. But yeah, a really good fight. She is who she says she is, and she is who she thinks she is. Regardless of how you feel about her and that relationship and what she does in her private, that girl can fight.
That part.
She can fight at the end of the day. And ain't none of y'all gonna say that shit to her face
Clarissa Swole.
because she
I ain't
gon'
gonna
you
say
know what I'm
nothing
saying?
bad about Clarissa.
Girl,
Good
yeah,
job,
exactly.
Clarissa. I'm so
That's
proud
it.
of you, girl.
Right. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to her directly, and y'all know that. So shout out to her, a great fight. Yeah, it was a really great weekend. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the not the fight in general, but just like the papoose, what you hear about like their relationship?
Now, I knew she was a fighter, of course, but I know more about her and Papooses relationship than anything. I didn't even know she was fighting until you told me about it. When you text me and was like, "Girl, don't forget about the fight." I was like, "What fight?" So I hate to say, I mean, I see different things, but more than likely, I'm seeing her on live talking about "Don't come for my man" and her and Remy, and I just know too much. I keep
Yeah.
telling you, we just know too much about these celebrities opposed to what they genuinely do. So I think everybody is so shocked, like, oh my gosh, she really beat that girl up. And it's like, that's what she do. Like, aside from her being on live and talking about don't come for my men, like, she really be fighting. Like, she's really a boxer. She really works out in her spare time. Like, she's swole. It's like smoke and mirrors with social media because they give us too much instead of the craft. So a lot of times, a lot of people, they're like, oh, she ain't gonna do nothing because we just know too much about the personal life. And maybe that's a tactic. I like it. Sometimes you got to think the marketing of it all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to give them too much to take away from what's really going on behind the scenes.
Steamy millennials, we are in shit. I said it in a group chat. So I was like, first Dawson got taken from us. Now McSteamy, like millennials, we are in shambles right now. Like,
Baby, I was not okay, especially
I am not
watching
okay.
his video. I was not all right. It was
It's
so sad.
especially how that,
ALS is a
yes,
bitch.
it took him so quickly. 10 months.
Yeah,
10
what?
months.
And then do you know that he was still filming? Like he still did, I forgot what show he was on, but
Euphoria.
Euphoria, still filming by sitting, like, but
Yep.
still reciting his lines,
Yeah.
still being himself. Like, whenever I saw pictures of that, it didn't even look like he was sick. I was like, oh my God, like the dedication for that in order to push through just for your legacy. Like, ah, oh my God, honey, everybody love
It
McSteamy.
reminds me of Chadwick Boseman. Remember, he did his last film with Viola Davis and stuff. And
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Oh,
And but man, just how quickly that ALS. I remember when he had mentioned, like, yeah, last April, I guess it was,
yeah.
that he was diagnosed. And when I heard it, I was like, oh man, because we know how debilitating it can be.
ALS is
And to see just the different interviews months in a span of time where you could see he was like, I'm starting to lose function on one side, my limbs. Now I can't
tremors.
walk before it. And it
Yeah.
just took him so quickly. And I was just looking into how ALS and the symptoms and things like that, and he was like, it was just a random kind of thing, where he was like, I just kind of felt a little like tingleness or weakness on one side. I didn't think much of it. And when he finally got checked out and all this, and when he finally got an official diagnosis and understanding what that is and how debilitating it can be,
Mhm.
man, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
But 53 is so young, so young.
It's
Even Dawson at 48 and passing from cancer. You know,
Oh, and yeah, it's like
it's so young.
it's very sad. Something that I do appreciate though is how people are gaining more awareness of various diseases, ailments, disabilities. I really want people to be more cognizant of their
Mhm.
health, even with getting colonoscopies. Like as you get older, a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm too young for that." Honey, it's taking people young, old, middle-aged, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to be aware of what's going on with your body and listen to the signs and the symptoms. Like, they're there. Your body is not going to lie to you.
And to piggyback off of that, when you do notice, you know, certain things like, this ain't feeling right, blah, blah,
Mhm.
advocate for yourself too.
Yeah.
Because I've seen plenty of TikToks and people
Mhm.
have been saying, hey, I went to the doctor, I knew something was off, and they dismissed my symptoms. They sent me home, they gave me some bullshit medication,
Yep.
sent me home. And I damn it. Remember, there was the story of the pregnant lady who was in
Yeah.
labor and the black lady and all that. And they dismissed her saying, oh, you're good, blah, blah, blah. And she almost died,
Yeah.
where the husband had to bring her back in less than like that same day and was like, no, this is not. And stuff like that. Advocate for yourself. Do not settle. Do not settle. Do not allow them to dismiss you and say, oh, well, this is going to cost. Give me all the, I want all the tests. At the end of the day, I'm going to have to pay for this shit anyway.
That part,
So,
that's what your
you know what I'm
insurance
saying?
is for.
So, give me all the tests. I don't care about the bill at the end of the day. Give
Right.
me all the tests. I want to prolong my life. I know something's not right. I know
Mhm.
my body. I know how I feel when I'm normal. I know when something is abnormal, and especially when it has sustained, it's becoming, it's not just acute, but it's more chronic and it's over a
Exactly.
long period of time. I've seen plenty of stories like that, and how people are like, if it would have been caught earlier, like I had said when I came in months ago, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be at stage 3 or stage 4. But they
Exactly.
dismissed me, and now it's full blown, and if they had caught it earlier, I could have been
Right.
at stage 1, and my chances of survival would have been more. So sue the hell out of these companies, because it's
That part.
bullshit. It's
Mhm.
bullshit. And because
Mhm.
I've even been dismissed, and even me with some health and my doctor's appointments, advocating and things like that, and not taking no for an answer.
That's right.
So that's my rant for the day. But because you see it all too often, and that is so, that hurts me so, especially because I work in personal injury,
Yeah.
law firm and stuff, and you hear, well, that's more medical malpractice, so it's a
Sure.
different form of personal injury and litigation. But you see it all the time where I came to them in the right amount of time and they dismissed me. But had they caught it at that appointment, I
Mhm.
could have. But now it's beyond. I'm terminal. And it's that is what is killing people off in these young ages, is
Yeah.
because these doctors think you're so young, your body is just, it's just anxiety, it's just a panic attack, and you really have something going on with your heart,
Exactly.
and you don't know it, and they
Now
just
you
want to
have
dismiss
cardiac
because
arrest
of
and you died
age.
in your sleep.
And you have, right, young folks dying in their sleep, cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
You just don't. So yeah, that always gets me because you see it so often.
Yeah.
And even for me, like I said, people have been, and I've noticed, like, no, something's off. I know something is off. This is not right. This is just, and so yeah, it's overwhelming. But
It is.
so R.I.P. McSteamy. Boy, he
Mm.
was fine as hell. Like,
He was so
I
fine.
was just glad they
I
were watching back like
Woo,
Gray's clips, and I'm like, ooh.
I was so mad when they killed him off. Said,
Right.
"What?"
I was always team McSteamy over
Same.
Derek, because Derek always played like he
He
was,
was
and I'm like, you
anybody.
are more toxic. At least he owned up to being a man
At least
whore. You know what
McSteamy
I'm
was
saying?
like, "Look,
At
I'm
least,
toxic, baby girl.
yes. At
What you
least
want from me?"
McSteamy owned up to his,
Big Dream, it was just that. It was all a dream.
it
Nelly.
was all a dream. He tried to put the facade like he's this good guy, but he was cheating on his Addison and all that. Man, no,
Meredith,
go
what do you
somewhere,
want,
Derek. Go somewhere,
Meredith?
Derek.
Oh,
Yeah, I was never a fan of Derek. I'm sorry.
me neither.
Never.
He wasn't my favorite. But
Mm.
yes, rest in peace. Oh, that was so sad. Hmm.
It was, but all right. Well, now let's get to the main event, the main topic that we're talking about with Aaliyah's "We Need a Resolution." And first of all, this track, for it to be like the first track on her Aaliyah album, it was just a beautiful intro to the
Super.
album.
Yes.
It was really great. The Timberland beat, and I think did Static Major. Of course, Static Major was all over that album. First off,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to him. But I think he also had a hand in writing this as
Did.
well.
Hmm.
And another Static Major, a masterpiece, because this song, and again, the message behind it, it's
Hmm.
so central. I mean, this was what the album was released back in 2001.
Yes.
And to this day, it's again another topic and subject that is universal.
Hmm.
And conflict resolution,
Yeah.
and these misunderstandings in within relationships,
Mhm.
in the song specifically.
I'm tired of arguing. I'm sorry.
I'm tired. I'm
I'm
tired.
tired. You try to blame me when I don't even know the reasons. I think it's just the season, maybe the month. Hold up, y'all.
Now,
Maybe
see
you're
this part,
bleeding.
I didn't realize the lyrics of what he said in this part. Hold on.
Maybe the month. Maybe you're bleeding. Timberland.
He he tried to
That's
say,
too much.
"Oh, you probably acting out
You got
because it's that time of the month. You on your period. You know what I'm saying?"
you had to say bleeding though. Yeah.
I know. Maybe maybe the month,
That's the
maybe
only
the
thing that
bleed.
rhymed. Okay
I
then. Let's
said,
keep
"Oh
going.
wow, oh wow." He
Is
tried.
it gonna be who blames who? What's your problem? Let's resolve it. Of course, am I supposed to change? Are you supposed to change? We
Mhm.
have so much confusion. Were your fingers broke? Now
That
that's
part
my
always said, "Well, yo, thing you could have communicated if the plans had changed. Call me and let me know so I wouldn't have put on my clothes."
and then she
Okay,
finishes up with what was in your head?
I love it.
What was you thinking? Were your fingers broke?
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
So
just
there's a lot of central themes in there. A lot of central
for sure.
themes of people holding things in, people not properly communicating. It's like ghosting, right? Where it's just like if you weren't feeling it, just communicate that and we can move on. But when you leave people in limbo and it's like, what are you thinking? What are you? I don't know. What was in your head? What's in your head? Speak your heart. Don't bite your tongue. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you think about conflict resolution, and when people think about conflict, there are some that are avoidant, right? A lot
Sure.
of people, oh, I don't like a conflict. I just want to, and so they'll kind of close up a little bit and
Hmm.
they won't speak up and they won't
Right.
really share and so nothing will get resolved. You build up this resentment at the end of the day when
Yeah.
you can't properly articulate and get out what is really truly bothering you.
Hmm.
You build up this resentment that lingers over time and that will eventually blow up.
Right.
And so conflict is normal. You know what I'm saying? Resolution determines growth, though.
Yes.
And it takes a level of emotional maturity
Hmm.
and how you handle situations. And
Exactly.
also, communication looks different now than it did, at different stages of your life. Like me in my 30s and how I handled things was way different than how I would handle it back
Same.
in the day, when I was a bit more reserved and shy. Now I'm more direct. Like I will stand up for myself. I don't care how you may feel about. And one other thing with a communication tool too is sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Like I'm always an advocate for that saying, the delivery. Sometimes it's hard for people to receive what you're trying to say when you're yelling at me, when you're coming at me, I don't feel safe. So now I'm in defense mode, right? So I'm not listening for understanding. I'm listening to, as that
React.
you're
Mhm.
reacting, you're getting defensive and you're
Sure.
going to defend yourself because I don't feel safe in this space. So how
Right.
you deliver a message as well is just as important as the message itself.
That
And
part.
that is one thing over time that I had to learn as well as my delivery. And
Mm,
that goes regardless of relationships. That goes in the workplace.
mm,
That goes in your friendships,
mm,
how you deliver certain things.
mhm,
I have a story recently.
mm,
I was dealing with a client who had called in and they were forwarded to me, and they were upset, not at me specifically, but they were upset at the lack of communication from, because again, the case had just recently been filed to
okay,
preserve, statute of limitations and stuff. And so now it got transferred to me and the attorney that I work with, and we were
mhm,
handling the litigation side. So for
okay,
the first 2 years, while they were treating and all that stuff, it was handled on the pre-litigation department with the case manager and all that stuff. And
mhm,
they were upset for the lack of communication from the case manager. Like, I haven't heard from anybody in months. What's going
okay,
on in my case? And blah, blah, blah. Which understandable. I get it.
sure,
Nobody sat them down and really explained the process
the
of what
process,
goes on.
right,
And so instead of, because again, they came on the phone blasting and blah, 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 and all that. Now, I could have, again, ma'am, your problem is not with me. So why the hell are you talking to me like that? But
right,
I let them get out what they needed to get out. I
sure,
listened. And
mhm,
then I'm like, okay. And then I went down and I addressed every little thing that
correct,
they said. And I said, ma'am, so this is the process. The first
Mhm.
2 years was pre-litigation, but then we run up on what's called a statute of limitations. This is the time that we have to file your lawsuit. Otherwise, you know, your claim is dead. We can't proceed because we didn't file by a certain date. So now that
Exactly.
it's been filed, now it's moved on to the litigation. We're going to be handling it. So me and your handling attorney, we are the team that is going to be communicating with you from here on out. So
Right.
what I did was I gave her my direct line, my email address, my direct line at the office. I said, so you can bypass the front desk. You can get
Mhm.
directly to me. You can text this number as well. I'd prefer you to text it because I could text you back quicker because if I'm on the phone with another client, I can't answer your calls.
Sure.
And so when I explained every little thing and I said it calmly and I broke down the discovery process and how long the whole process, by the end of that call, she had calmed down and was like, thank you. Thank you so much. Like that's all I asked was just I just didn't know what to expect. Now that you have broken down what I should expect, I will not be blowing you up. I will wait for
Yeah.
you to reach out to me and I like thank you for that. And
Yeah.
so it all it takes is just sitting, listening, let them get out with it, and then address, you know what I'm saying, in a calm, collected manner. And so that's, how you deal with these types of things in everyday life.
Right.
So yeah, do you have any instances of, some what could have been a miscommunication, but you guys were able to resolve it, or something that did blow up into, that was a miscommunication that blew up and, could have been handled better?
Yeah, I'm a teacher day to day. That's my
Mhm.
job. So the hilarious part is not only with the students, fellow staff, but parents. So the
Mhm.
hilarious part, the parents aren't sitting there every day, and their child is their baby, their golden being. So if I ever receive emails that are a little hot and spicy, when I first started teaching, and mind you, I've been teaching now for 4 years, I was ready to go. It was like, "What you not gonna do? You ain't in here." Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say it nicer, but I had to make sure that I stood up for myself because as a chronic people pleaser in my life,
Mhm.
I realized I would say we're going back in time to when we were younger, how we resolve conflict.
Mhm.
I wouldn't really say much. And to be honest, Nicole, she's was there during those years. I was the peacekeeper, like right in between. As I went to college, I was like, oh hell no, this is crazy. This is who I am. This is what I like. And I was overly doing it. Like, oh, nobody's
Mhm.
going to disrespect me. I'm going to say
Mhm.
exactly what I got to say, just pushing it to the limit. Where now, as an adult, I don't have to demand respect from people. I don't have to overly do it. I have to,
Mhm.
one, respect myself. And then if I
Mhm.
have any issues with people, I just have to stick to the facts. And that's where I'm at now, which is exactly what you were just saying is you have to stick to the facts. Even having a history in retail, healthcare, now education, the facts are the facts. Somebody could blow me up when I was in healthcare, like so and so happened in my appointment. And well, ma'am, I'm so sorry that your appointment, you were late. We have a 15-minute grace period. We can reschedule you because your appointment actually takes an hour and a half and it includes blah, 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 blah. Oh,
Mhm.
well, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, reschedule me. But they came in at 15.
Yeah,
Well, if
exactly.
I'm at 15, well, ma'am, you should have been here on time. I'm with fellow staff. And this is how I feel in general. I don't go home with you. I don't put that much sweat equity into disagreements at work. We're all adults. So if
Mhm.
I say something and you don't like it, just address me and tell me about it and we can move on. I'm not going to be ass hurt because you told me you didn't like what I had to say. I shouldn't be working at a middle school and we acting like middle schoolers. Like that's stupid to me. So people know I just don't do drama. I handle things head on. And that's just where I'm at in my life, especially in the workplace.
I've seen it so many times how it has burned people in the workplace when you get too
Mhm.
close with your
Woo!
coworkers and y'all be out frolicking and let's go to happy hour and y'all get buzzed and y'all do and you share too much with these people.
You
At
do.
the end of the day, these are not your friends.
They're not
These are
your
not
friend.
we work together and I've seen it time and time again where they get
Mhm.
caught up and
Yep.
they give like special treatment to if you're in a higher and it's backfired and people have gotten I'm like, look, I keep my head down, okay, not
Right.
saying I'm antisocial, but I don't be sharing my personal stuff with these folks. People
Correct.
may ask me questions here and there. People ask me, oh, how was your weekend? I keep it short. I was in my bed. I could have been in there was one weekend somebody literally asked me, how was your weekend? I said, oh, I was in the bed. Bitch, I was in Vegas. But they asked me. Do not overshare with your coworkers, please,
Just stop it.
folks. Please don't do this. Do not
Don't
get
do
too close to
it.
these people, because
Don't.
at the end of the day, they will throw you under the bus if it benefits them. If it benefits them, people will throw you under the bus all day, every day. These are not your chosen friends. Like there's different, people you meet in your life, and you're like, okay, I know I want to. Just go get your check, go in, do your 8 hours, and go home.
You see too many people just, oh, we DoorDash so and so, and we did this, and we're eating together. My planning period is mine. I don't want to
Mhm.
hear nothing. I want to kiki, hee. I want to be quiet on my lunch break. I don't want to talk about
Kiki.
nothing related to work. I don't. But some
You're right.
people they crave that. They love it. They want that sense of community. And it's like, I got enough community when I leave work.
That's it.
I'm good.
Takes a level of emotional maturity to not, like you said, go tit for tat with folks. And that
Exactly.
is in my grown age now. I am protecting my peace and picking and choosing my battles of what to give my energy to. And you
I
really have to do that in your everyday life.
arguing takes a lot of energy. And I don't
Mhm.
have that type of time, especially in my friendships. It's like I shouldn't be arguing with you.
Talk about it. Let's go. That was actually I was going to pivot into communication and friendships and just like miscommunications, I guess, in friendships. And
Sure.
has there been some type of conflict that you can think of that, yeah,
I
any
can
stories?
only say when I was younger, like college years, like when it was
Mm-hmm.
miscommunication or, you go on trips or whatever and people, they'd say this or that. I just don't have that type of time anymore. I don't. We're very grown. I can honestly say in our relationship, we are very direct with one another. This is how it works. This is what I like. This is what I don't really want to do. And we're too grown to be having a foot up our ass about stupid shit. Like it doesn't make sense. But we've never, I can honestly tell y'all, some of y'all might call bullshit on this. We have never had no run-ins.
We really haven't. I was thinking back too, and I know people are like, "Well, are y'all really friends and best friends if y'all never had a?" Yes, you
Yes,
can. You can still be best friends. And again, we are both folks that are have emotional maturity, and we're that mature that we don't. If there's any type of like, "Hey, girl, boo," we address it head on. You're honest, you're open, and that's it. But yeah, I can't even think of a moment of friction that we've ever had where I'm
when
like,
we had to
I'm
get
mad
this
at her.
together, I had to
Yeah.
look and go, okay, we're gonna talk about us. And I was like, I don't think we've ever had any type of issue. And if we, I just, and y'all can probably tell this from just watching episodes with us. Nicole is very direct. She is to the point. She does not bullshit you. And over time, you learn that with your friend. You kind of
Mhm.
mirror your person. We say
Mhm.
that a lot with Grey's
Mhm.
Academy. Like we always
Yes,
say that.
your
With
person.
Christina
That's my
Meredith.
person.
My person.
That's my person.
But it's the truth. Like, I'm talking to you. We shouldn't be arguing. We shouldn't be fussing. We shouldn't have no issues with each other because time is too precious. We don't even live next to each other like we used to. Even when we
Mhm.
did, we were tied at the hip, going
Mhm.
places, doing stuff, having a great time. It's just never been about that with us
Yeah.
ever. We've just always told one another the truth. We've always lived in truth with one another and
Mhm.
honesty. Even if it's something we don't like, it's like, oh no, girl, I don't like that. Maybe we should do something else. Like, we
Mhm.
don't let petty shit outweigh the real shit that we have to deal with. And I think
That's
that's
it.
just what it has been. So, I mean, I get it. Some people, they have that type of conflict type of spirit. I've
Mm.
noticed that some people they just gotta fuss, they gotta argue to get their point across. I don't like that, and maybe it's the Libra in us. I
I
hate the
think we
guy
are
for
both
me.
Libras, and that is it. We don't got time for that shit. And I think you're right. We both are Libras. Again,
We're
our
very
birthdays are
much
5 days
so.
apart. So you're
And we're
absolutely
Libras
right.
truly. Like we're 5 days apart. So
Yeah.
we're the same in a lot of ways. Like
Mhm.
we can
Although
sit.
you're an October Libra, I'm a September Libra. So there is a
That's true.
slight difference
There's
in that.
slight
But
difference. What is the slight
slight.
difference?
As far as October Libras, you guys share the month with Scorpios, right? So y'all have a little Scorpio tendencies in y'all.
Okay.
Versus we share the month with
The
Virgos.
Virgo.
I mean, you don't really hear anything bad about Virgos, right? Beyonce's a Virgo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear nothing bad about so us Libras, our September Libras, you know what I'm saying? And there's less of us, right? Because it's from the
True.
23rd through the 30th. So there's less of us versus more October. So I don't we're unique in our sense.
I like that.
Yay,
That's very
September
true.
Libras.
I will say that. That is very true. Yeah, y'all are a different breed in a good way. Y'all are
Yes.
you're very super chill and relaxed. And most Virgos I know are very like in the cut, chill. They can be lit, have a good time, but for the most part, you like, hey, what you doing? I'm just chilling.
Literally me.
I'm good, all
Mhm.
good. Now I will say these October Libras, I'm very extra. That's very true. Nicole always like she doing now. She always laughs at me because I'm just too much. And I've said in that over time. I like what I like. I like options. I like opulence. I love the extra where Nicole is like, girl, if you don't bring your ass on,
I swear.
no. Over time, she knows this about me. She knows
I
I'm
do.
just very extra. And I know that Nicole is real chill. And it works. We always say yin and yang because
Literally, I was just about to say yin and yang. That is so us. It really
we're
is. So we've talked about, conflict resolution and workplace and
mm-hmm,
friendships.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, the main thing is in relationships. And so
Ooh.
I'm curious in obviously in your marriage now,
Uh-huh.
and has there been any instances or like a good scenario or example of how you guys have worked through some type of maybe friction or misunderstanding or something, so that you can let me know about, so that as I'm working through, as I'm in my relationships and stuff, that I can look to like, ooh, that's a good example of how I should address this with my person.
I'm learning how to listen at first and realize, okay, this is my dude, this is my guy. So I know he's not out to get me. So we're
Mm-hmm.
used to, I'd see it as, oh, you don't agree? How, Sway? Like, what do you mean? So it would be like War of the Worlds, where genuinely it's like, yo, why are we fighting each other and not the problem? What are we really fighting against? And half the time it's I'm tired, or oh my God, this is going on,
Mm-hmm.
or I really want to talk to you, or I really want to spend time with you, or it can be something where you need to be vulnerable. So a lot of times I'm working on being vulnerable because for so
Mm-hmm.
much of my life you can't do that, like in the workplace, like you have to be a certain way. You have to, we were talking about it, as black people we just go in with the armor on all the time, where in your relationship you shouldn't have to do that. But life can beat you up so bad sometimes that you get home and you still on alert, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, I don't need to be arguing with you. Like, this is what's going on. And I'm working on giving grace and holding myself accountable. Like, oh man, I didn't mean to say it like that. Or, babe, I'm sorry. I had a long day. I didn't mean it like that. This is what's going on. I didn't mean to be snappy. And I don't like I'm sorry's. I don't like that. What is I'm sorry just is like a pacifier. And I don't want
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm spitting it back out. I don't want that passy. I don't like passies. I don't want it. I don't wanna
Mm-hmm.
pacify, don't pacify me. I mean, give me a good durable Band-Aid for this cut, cause that hurt. Like, give me something that is really gonna help me. Depends on what happened, how we both feel, and over time, really learning your partner, and what not what ticks them off, but more so what season they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a tough season where you just have to be like, oh man, it's not even us. It's the season right now. So anything is going to set me off. I'm a bomb right now. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. But you have to be able to be willing to be vulnerable with your partner and say, look, I'm going through a lot right now. I'm sorry. If I pop off, if I do whatever, just know it's not you. And that's
Mhm.
what I've been working on because as the years progress, you're different than who you were when you met. When you got
Mhm.
married, like you're different. And that person has to be okay with the changes. So that's what I'm working on. And I know that was a very long winded answer, but that's
Oh,
how
bro.
we, work through conflict. And we try to have less and less conflict and more good days. It's like instead of me getting ass hurt over what you said, I can be like, did you mean that like that? And I'm being very direct now
Mhm.
to in my relationship. I'd be like, oh, where now I'm like, what do you mean by XYZ? And he's like, babe, nothing. I meant so and so. Oh, okay. And then I go on about my business because, like I said in a previous episode, our brains as women, we're wired differently. We will take something and I will go over it and over it. Like, okay, what scenario? If he said it like this, did he
Mhm.
mean this? That's what I've worked on, and it has helped tremendously.
I love it. I took so much from that. I love, again, me as being somebody who's more direct. I feel the same way. I would address it or approach it the same way and just like, hey, what did you mean by that? So I'm not misconstruing what you're saying and I'm not taking it the wrong way.
Right.
If I hear it and I'm like, wait, what? Like, at first you're a little offended, but then you're like, wait, what did you mean by that? And then
Exactly.
when they explain their side, it's like, oh, okay. Because how it came off is X, Y, and Z. But oh, if this
Yeah.
is your intent behind it. And I love that too, because I want to give the chance for somebody to explain a little bit, or, like I
Yeah.
said, um, clarify a little
Sure.
bit more,
Hmm.
versus just like you said, running with, like, they said something and I don't follow up and say, well, what did you mean by that? And I just internalize it and I'm butthurt for the rest of it. And then again, you start building up that resentment with your person
Yes.
and stuff, right? Versus if I would have just gave them the opportunity to clarify and correct, like, oh, ooh, I didn't mean it like that. This is what I actually meant or something.
In my marriage, we look at everything in quarters.
I love it. I was just about to say, I like how you use the quarters, break
For
up the
me as
year.
a content creator and as a teacher, I have to look at things as semesters, quarters.
Hmm.
So it works.
Hmm.
My husband, he's an accountant, so he has to look at things in quarters as well.
Hmm.
So that's how we look at things. So I'm like, quarter three. That's not what I had projected in my findings. And he'll even go quarter four. That's a bit much. That's a lot that you're trying to do for quarter four because I always be doing too much around Christmas time. But anyway, so that's how we look at things, and we're able to speak objectively about a lot of things. That's another thing we do. We have business meetings, and whenever we're having these meetings, it's not that I'm not your wife right now, but I'm your business partner. And we
Oh,
need to
I like
talk
this.
about life, like what's going on each week. What are you trying to do individually? What are we doing collectively? Is anything going to pop up?
Hmm.
And how are you feeling? Then we pivot to us. And then we're like, okay, now I'm your wife again. So, how are you feeling? Is there anything you need? Is there anything you're missing? And then we have to be honest. We can't just give bullshit like everything's fine.
That's
It
the
can't
thing.
be,
Yeah.
look, I mean, the affection, big dog or Tara. I'm missing a little bit. Like you lacking over here. And sometimes it's going to hurt. You're going to be
Yeah.
like, what the hell? I'm a fat. No, oh, he said it. Well, oh shit. I guess I'm not.
Hmm.
So you got to really listen. And especially
Hmm.
if you put those parameters around it, like it's a for real business meeting. You can't interrupt. You got
Hmm.
to listen and you got to take it to the head, kid. You can have a rebuttal. Everything doesn't need one though. But
Hmm.
I'm the rebuttal type. My mama even say that. She said, girl, you got to have the last word. And do Undo. That's
Well,
me. But I'm working on being like, okay, okay. And just sitting, letting it marinate. And then later I'll be like, okay, so when you said so and so, what you want that to look like? Because a lot of times males, dudes, when they say something, it can mean something totally different.
mhm.
You're thinking, oh my God, we need to take a vacation. We got to do blah, blah, blah. They're like, nah, bro, I just meant let's get a sandwich. That's all I meant. Like men are they can be very, very simple. My husband's even told me that. He said, babe, I'm very simple. I don't need 50 million options. I just need something to eat. That's it. I'm just hungry. That's why I'm grouchy. And I'm like, oh, like that was that simple. Oh shoot. So if you ask your partner, if you are being observant as well, and you ask them, what do you want? You remember the notebook? What do you want?
Yes. Yes. That is a perfect example of that too.
That's the best
Yes.
quote ever. You
That
have
is
to
the best
ask
quote.
people no matter what. No, I don't care what relationship it is, business, work, I don't care. What do you want? What do you want out of this? Whatever we're doing. What would you like? Please let me know and break it up into quarters. If I had to give y'all some homework, break your life up into quarters and do some friendship, relationship, whatever inventory and figure out what do you want out of this? Then ask the other person, what do you want out of this?
Mhm.
And if it aligns, great. If it doesn't, y'all have some work to do. But nothing's wrong with doing work if you really want it to work.
I think the core of that, right, with anything when you're communicating and somebody is asking you directly, hey, what is it that you want? What did you mean by that? Be honest. And that speaks to the vulnerability aspect of it, right? Be honest, be vulnerable, but that also creating a safe space for your partner to have that vulnerability and honesty. And so all of that goes into, if all of your conflicts and all of your arguments and stuff get contentious, get riled up, and things get thrown across the room, I don't feel safe. And
Yeah.
so that's why I don't speak my mind, and that's why I don't feel safe being vulnerable with you. And honestly, if it gets to that point, maybe y'all shouldn't be together anyway, but that's a story for another time.
That part.
Y'all can come to that conclusion if you want.
Correct.
But I love how you and JB are just both have that emotional maturity, that you're both on that level of that's how you approach and that's how you communicate and things like that. And it's
Right.
not perfect all the time, but you
Right.
guys found what works for you,
Yes.
and it's healthy, and it's
Yeah.
created a healthy relationship. And that's what it's all about. But it starts with the honesty and being
Yeah.
honest and transparent, and not dismissing and like, I'm okay. If somebody asks, hey, are you good? I'm okay. It is what it is. Okay. And like I said, the resentment will build up. And
Mhm.
it's like, well, hey, I asked you
Right.
and you said you were cool.
Right.
Again, it's body language. I'm not a mind reader, so I'm supposed to read that you should have known I actually did feel some type of way and you should have came and said
Come on,
something.
Sway.
I don't got the energy or the time for these mind games. Like,
Correct.
please be honest and upfront and
Right.
direct. Cause
What
I
do you
can't,
want?
yeah, like I can't. And again, somebody who really loves you and cares for you, if you bring something to, forefront
Right.
and like, hey, this is what I need from you. And like you said, it may sting at first, like, I thought I was giving you these things. I thought I
Right.
was, showing up this way. I thought I was. Now that I hear from your perspective that
Mhm.
either I haven't been doing that or maybe not to the level that I can, those that actually care about you will make the necessary adjustments and will
Exactly.
make and those that they'll be dismissive, argumentative, and blah blah.
Yep.
Again, that may not be who you need to be with, but
That,
again, well, you can come to that conclusion on your own. And I always go back to listen for understanding and not to be reactive to your person, or just somebody in general. Somebody had tweeted something along the lines of, in conflict resolution, like there's a difference between you look at the intentionality behind what they did. Was it an
I
intentional,
found
was
that
it a
too.
choice, or was it like, something that really
Why?
was like, ooh, that was a mistake,
Yeah.
versus something that they did was a choice. It's not about the message, but the delivery. Sometimes how
Hmm.
you deliver something is just as important as what you're saying. Is there anything else you want to address or say?
I think I was going back to the lyrics in the beginning,
Yes.
how it was like, am I supposed to change? Or
Yeah.
are you supposed to change? But now, as a
Hmm.
grown woman, I'm realizing change is necessary on both ends.
Hmm.
I used to think, oh
Hmm.
my God, if I have a conflict, oh man, that affects my whole life. Has that ever happened to you where your whole vibe is off? You thinking about it the whole day.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's like, wait a minute. That
Yeah.
we could have deaded that real quick. Stress will kill you, but we're not in charge of somebody else's change rate.
Can't control anybody else's change, anybody else's growth,
Right.
anybody. They have to want it for themselves. And
Hmm.
that's why I say so much, like if somebody truly loves you and values you,
Hmm.
they will make the necessary changes in order to stay with you and to
Right.
keep the relationship alive and growing and thriving. We hope this episode was gave you again a little insight into us and our everyday, but you guys were able to take a little something from that, because again,
Yeah,
this is such a universal topic. And there'll be some more because there's plenty of songs dealing with conflict and things. So down the line, we'll probably address this again, because we'll probably have some new scenarios in our life in the
for
workplace,
sure.
and something that has come up that
Right.
is like update, on how we've resolved and how we've handled these things.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thank you again for hanging with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.